first impression was the breadth of work, how many different kinds of styles, how many different kinds of thinking there were, how varied the work was, both conceptually and in its technique. There's a lot of very professional work in that exhibition.
So let's talk about first prize, which is Dog with a Broken Back. What is it that spoke to you about this particular piece of art that earned it the distinction of coming first?
I came straight from the airport, straight to the gallery, and I spent an hour there looking around. I prefer to do things this way. I like to absorb everything and then go away. I woke up at 3 a.m., but that painting woke me up at 3 a.m., which meant that I had to think about it differently. So when I went to the gallery the next morning, I interrogated it in a slightly different way than I would normally, because it already had an effect. I think it's the most original work there. I think it's the strangest work there. It's apparently a simple painting. It's apparently a portrait of a broken dog, but it's so skillful. There's so many layers of different ways of painting, of different techniques coming together, and it's psychologically very intriguing.
And second prize, also a painting, Voyage into the Unknown. We can see Gibraltar from what appears to be the vantage point of the strait. What was it about this painting that struck you?
It's a tour de force. It's a drama picture. It's very different to the first one, entirely different to the first one. It's full of drama and action and a kind of dread. I mean, the main top part of the painting is a sky with the landscape, with the rock. In the middle there's a grey section, a boat full of people trying to make their way one way or the other. And underneath that is another thing that looks like a reflection of the rock, but maybe Africa, it may be across the strait. It's painted in such a way that the paint is a live thing. It's very, very tangible. And it looks to me like it could all change. This is a moment of calm. So there's a kind of tension there, and it looks like it could all exchange. It could all go in the next minute. The waves would come in, the weather conditions would change, and the whole thing would move about. And it's actually physically in the paint.
And third prize, which is not a painting, it's a sculpture. In fact, it's a chair, which will get some people talking, no doubt. What was it saying to you?
In physical terms, it's the simplest piece there. It's a wooden chair that's been used, it's been part of someone's life, it's been part of someone's family. It's black, and so someone has drilled holes into it and then attached dead twigs, dead branches. So it's a chair with a kind of a dead plant growing through it, and the plant is black as well. But they both elements have changed. This is a chair you can no longer sit in. The tree will no longer grow, and it sits as an enigma. It's kind of like a surrealist object.
We also have the Gibraltar theme, which in years past has been depictions of Gibraltar from the artist's point of view, usually landscape-based, but this one is different this year. It's a self-portrait.
This self-portrait is very striking. It's superbly painted. This person they know exactly what they're doing. They're very, very skilled, but it's got a moment to it. Self-portraits are very difficult. Sometimes they're often inert, or they're kind of still. They don't have any life. This thing is full of life. It's a human being. It's a known man who is peering from behind his canvas. He's looking from behind his canvas around. He's looking at us in a quizzical way, almost as if like, yes, and what can I do for you? And there's an element of humour in it, but it's very profound. And when those two things happen in self-portraits, they generally stay forever. They stay in the heart and the mind again in a very strong way. And I thought, one extraordinary thing.
And some interesting techniques seen as well in the young artist category.
It's a very beautiful, very intimate painting. It's intimate in the way it's made, but not in what it means. There are two canvases together, two boards together in a frame, sort of shut in this frame. The frame is part of the work. It looks like a view on a beach. It looks like you're looking down on two groups of people from afar, but they're just marks. They're touches of the brush, and their shadows seem to be more vital and more dense than the actual people. But there's two of them, so it's a bipolar thing. It has something that painters call touch. This young artist has touch, and that's to do with the way you make a mark. There's an inner confidence that you can't teach touch to people. This person's got it, and I really want to encourage them to continue to paint, because this touch makes these two things it's a very alive, intimate picture that is also mysterious.